live on City TV, and we are also on 97.3 City FM and on DSTV 363 and channel 117 on Go TV. If you're joining us for the first time, this is that show that gives you a safe space to express all your frustrations that you face, in any relationship. It could be with your partner, it could be with your spouse, it could be with your child, it could be with your friends, it could be at work, and so on. And like I said, it's a safe space because it's a no judgment zone. All we do is give you the best advice on how to navigate all these problems. And obviously I said we, because I wouldn't be doing that alone. I have the wonderful sisters here that will actually be dishing out all that advice that you need in your problems. But now it's time for us to take a quick break, and when we come back, I will be introducing the sisters and we'll be checking out our stories. Don't go now. Welcome back. It's still Sister. Remember that you can actually send us all your messages through sisterislive@gmail.com. sisterislive@gmail.com, and you can actually join the conversation on social media with #sister. If you're, connecting from Twitter, Facebook, #sister. Now it's time for me to introduce my sisters. And of course, the one on my side always, Rosie.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Rose. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic as always.
We're twinning on the lips.
I know, right?
Red.
Always.
How has your week been?
It's been good. It's been good. But the weather's hot.
It's so hot.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good.
Hot and good. All right. Lady Sishope, how are you?
Hi, Chris. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? How's work?
Work is great. I like work, so every time there is work, I'm excited.
I know. And joining us is Felicia. Hey, girl. How are you?
Fine.
You're looking nice.
Thank you.
How has your week been?
Crazy. I'm just looking forward to the weekend because I'm tired.
All right.
I really need to rest. I'm really tired.
All right, sisters, you're all welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So are we ready for the stories?
Yes.
So I'm going to get into my first story. Okay, and I hope you are ready for the first story. Just sit back, relax, and listen. Okay, dear sister, I'm in a dilemma. My name is AC. I got married last year to the love of my life. Honestly, I feel my man was perfectly made for me. However, we are struggling, sisters. We are broke. And when I say broke, I mean broke to the extent that we live at the mercy of kind friends. Our financial problems started right after our extravagant wedding. Growing up, my dream was to have a fairy tale wedding, and that was exactly what my husband gave me. With the benevolence of his pastor, who he affectionately calls Papa, he was able to throw a dream wedding. At the end, I also took bank loans to add to the money his Papa gave him. After the wedding, we couldn't afford to rent, so Papa, my husband's pastor, offered his home for us to live in because we were staying outside the country. Despite the support of Papa, life has not been the same since we settled. Most of our monthly income goes into paying off the bank loans I took and the rest towards maintaining Papa's home. Most often than not, we are left with nothing after paying our bills. I got pregnant a month after our wedding and I have given birth now. Sisters, life is hard. I'm sure you're wondering where my parents are. I cannot go home. During the wedding planning, I had frequent fights with my mom, and when we reported to Papa, he said my mom is a witch. Therefore, I haven't spoken to her since I got married, and she doesn't know that I even have a baby. Now, our biggest nightmare is Papa is coming back to Ghana and is asking us to move from his place. How can we? I can't go to my parents, and my husband can't 2, because he has given an impression that we are well to do. Now, where and who do we turn to? There is a baby involved and we cannot be on the street. Sisters, I need help. I like that deep. Sishabe, I'm going to start with you. Looking at you. It's like you have something to say, but at the same time, you're like...
students in class.
Yeah.
When the teacher asks a question, she go like this. Hoping the teacher doesn't call her first. But yes, everything that can go wrong has gone wrong from the beginning of this relationship, as far as I'm concerned. First of all, let me tackle this because as a mother, I cannot believe that any of my children will go out there and some random person will tell them I'm a witch and they would believe it. I don't know what I would do if that happens. I think that's the most painful thing. And I think to go biblical, that could even be the source of their problems.
Right.
It is the worst thing you can do to anybody who has brought you to this planet, to think or to believe anybody over them that they are a witch. Even if your parents are witches, look, I don't think they would take it on you.
Right.
Now let's delve into the matter itself. They have done so many mistakes from the onset of the relationship, judging from how and what she said so far, how things have gone. A big wedding that you can't afford is a no-no. And it looks like it's becoming a trend in Ghana where people want to have a wedding and then have it on all these sites.
It's Instagram.
Instagram, big
Bella
wedding on
Naija,
Instagram, Bella
Bella
Naija.
Ghana.
Oh my God. It's like if your wedding is not trending, then
Yes.
you've not had a wedding. I think
Yes.
it is just unfair on the Ghanaian
GH weddings.
There was a wedding I attended one time and I asked myself, hey, now this is a wedding, you're not entering the marriage. Then what if you're celebrating your 10-year anniversary? Like
Right.
it's got to be bigger than this. You know, the venue and everything kept me asking myself, this is what people actually do when they've achieved things. The marriage has gone on for 10 years and then you're celebrating your anniversary. It is bad to take a loan to do a wedding. Cut your coat according to your size.
Right.
This life we are living, nobody is ticking any box anywhere. Nobody really cares. People will come and sit down, eat your food, drink your wine, whatever, and go home and talk about you. And even wish you, half of the people that will not wish you well. They will wish you evil. They'll be praying for the day. When is this marriage ending?
It will
Are
end
they
in
having
tears.
issues?
It will end in tears.
All
It will
that
end in
stuff.
tears.
So I don't know why people even bother themselves to feed people who don't like you, to invite so many people to your wedding. They don't care. A lot of it now. And also to
She's still not landed.
and also to even accept you don't have a place to live. Why are you here? Why aren't you out there working? Because the story says she says they don't live here, and that's why they are staying in Papa's house.
Right.
Papa.
Okay, so wait.
No, as in Papa doesn't live here.
Papa. Oh, okay, so
they are
they live
staying in
here.
Papa's house
You're
here.
staying in Papa's house, and you're comfortable. You've been comfortable to the point where you've had a child in Papa's house. Lady, this is not okay. If you are not ready to mother a child, you must take protection, take care of yourself to the point where you know you are financially, physically, emotionally, psychologically ready to mother someone.
Right. Right.
So that is also wrong again. So like so many things are wrong. If I was her, first step to backtrack all your actions is to go back and beg your parents. Bible says obey your parents so that your days will be long on earth. You have gone to listen to someone else who has told you your parents are witches. Nothing can go wrong from that point. Nothing can go right from that point. So that's the first point of action. She should call her mother and go and beg her.
Right.
Go on her knees and beg her. For somebody to take care of you to the point where somebody else has seen you worthy to be married. Oh, even if that is witchcraft, you better respect that witch. So that's the first thing to do. And then she has to get her finances right. If you're not ready to do big wedding, don't do. And now you have a child in the mix, unfortunately. But something still can be done. And so she has to start from going to beg her parents and then both of them should sit down, discuss and agree where they move on from there and then start backtracking from there. One by one. Because this is all wrong, and if they don't do anything about it, it's going to get messy from here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I let Felicia come in, I would also want to introduce that we actually have Bruce here from Bruce Services. I mean, the story was so hot I forgot to introduce. Bruce, you've heard the story. Yes, and it's heavy, right?
It's very heavy.
Okay, but before we get into the story, what are you actually making for us? Because this story, like, we cannot be discussing this story without, you know,
A Bruce
some
view.
refreshment.
Well, today you guys will be drinking sex on the beach.
Sex on the beach. But we're talking about sex in Papa's house.
Also, we'll call it sex.
Sex in Papa's house.
Yes. Okay, so let's get back into the conversation. So Felicia, right? So they're in Papa's house now. They have a child and they have no money after an extravagant wedding.
So, like, this story breaks my heart. And it breaks my
Terrible.
heart because, as my sister Sicho said, everything that has to go wrong has happened.
Yeah.
And now there's an innocent child involved. And I always tell people around me, childbirth is not as simple as society makes it seem. People just give birth with the hope that God will provide. Yes,
I
God
like
will
that.
provide, but you need to position yourself in a place that God can provide for you. God doesn't provide by raining manna, raining grapes, raining bread. Even if He rains bread, you need to squat to pick those bread up.
Thank you.
Preach.
Oh, you have to, and that's painful. Anybody who has ideas about squatting and picking stuff will know that it's not easy to pick stuff from the floor. So, I don't know why people just fall prey to societal pressure.
Yeah.
As a woman, I tell myself and I advise my friends, even as a woman, you should be prepared to have a child. Let's forget about the financial constraints.
Yeah.
Let's forget about the stability in the house. Mentally, physically,
Yeah.
you should be ready to have a child. Why? Because I want to have a child when I'm ready to be
Exactly.
present in that child's life. Being present includes being able to provide financially, being present to provide for their social needs, being present to help develop their mental, you know, strength and skills, whatever. So if you are not stable, how can you raise a child in a stable environment?
Right.
That is just the social bit, the psychological, the mental, the emotional bit of it. Not to talk of the financial bit. Now let me step back. Let's go 2 steps backwards to receiving money from Papa. I don't know how people will
And
see
leaving
me.
off friends.
Yeah. I don't even know how people will see me after this delivery. This papa thing is getting out of hand. Some people are living at the mercies of spiritual fathers, spiritual mothers, spiritual leaders. I'm sorry, but even the Bible itself speaks against that. Why would you put all your hopes in one human being? A human being just like yourself. We need to sometimes step out of the flesh and, focus on the spiritual bit of our religion. I'm saying religion because I'm not talking about Christians. I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm not talking about church. Because it spans across. Somebody has this hope in this traditional guy in the corner. Everything, they have to run to that person. This malam somewhere. Those people are just guides. They guide our spiritual well-being. They are not the leaders of our spiritual life. They don't own our spiritual life. To the extent that you take money from your pastor to do a wedding, he gives you a place to stay, and now see this same pastor has turned over.
Yeah.
Especially at the time of need. If he really cares about your well-being, how would he tell you to leave his house when he knows very well that
You're
you need
suffering.
him the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
at that point? Do you get me?
Right.
And my question too is, what does this guy do for the pastor that he felt comfortable sponsoring their wedding and giving them his home?
Right. Yeah.
I sense something fishy here.
Yeah, it sounds very fishy, very, very fishy, because I was also thinking the same way. But then again, sometimes this Papa, Daddy movement, it almost feels like a cult.
But is he doing that
We've
very-
heard about religious cults.
Yes.
Yes, and there's this control that the heads usually have on the followers.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that money could just be that, yeah, I'm your head, so have your wedding. But now, the whole thing has cleared on Papa's eyes, has cleared on everybody's eyes. Look, leave my house, I need my
And
house.
even the
Is he
sad
doing-
part is
Is he doing same for everybody in the church?
exactly.
Why you?
Yeah. Even the sad part for me is the money Papa gave them for the wedding was not enough to the point where this lady had to go for loan. Like, what's going on? What kind of pressure are you under to have a big wedding and without that you will not survive on this planet?
Yeah,
It's wrong.
It's very but we are here to offer solution.
Yeah.
And when Sicho said you tell your own mother or you accept that your own mother is a witch.
She didn't do her
She didn't
witchcraft
kill you
sins,
when you were a baby, when you were fragile, when your bones were soft enough to munch on. And now that you're a full-grown woman who can fight with her, no, this is when she can easily bewitch you. No, that's heartbreaking. Anyway, a mother's love is undying. I'm sure the mother is praying and hoping for the day her daughter will realize all her mistakes and come back home. Right. So it's never too late. You know, any step to being remorseful is first of all identifying your problem or your mistake. And thanks be to God, from her delivery, you see she realizes that something is not right. So please go back to your home. Right. At least you offended your mom. So hopefully daddy doesn't feel offended. I'm guessing because she only spoke about the relationship with the mother. Right. So just go home. You have a beautiful baby. Our parents always are warm towards their grandchildren. So take the baby home. Tell your parents what it is. It's time to fix your finances, but we can't fix it immediately. Exactly. You need to start from somewhere. Go home and accept any support your parents could give you and start life from there. Right. As for the husband, I'll leave him to Rosie. Because if I start, I think Rosie won't have much to say. Because I really don't see the responsibility here. How can you take on somebody's daughter to add to your problems when you yourself cannot manage your own problems?
He seems quite irresponsible.
That is wicked. That's very irresponsible. True. You can't do that.
I don't know what I would do if any of my children think or believe any man of God who says I'm a witch. God, somebody will die in this town.
and is the guy working? That's what I'm asking myself.
Yeah, it seems like he's working. That's why they have to, that's how they're paying back the loans. Yeah, that's how they're paying back the loans. All right, Rosie.
I've been very quiet because a part of me is livid, a part of me is sad, a part of me is frustrated, and a part of me doesn't know what to say. Now, I like picking things from the very onset. I would give my last penny to say that the girl's mother foresaw all of these things.
Exactly.
Yes.
And was trying to draw attention to the daughter. But the daughter felt she was in love and probably went to the boyfriend to tell the boyfriend that, this is what my mom is saying, these are the concerns I'm guys raising. So the papa and this boy managed to kick the mother out of the equation so that they can have their fill. And then this papa promised that, look, I would single-handedly sponsor your wedding for you. So it meant that, okay, we don't need my mom for anything. And she was comfortable enough to, accept the branding of her mother as a witch and then let her mother go. Now, Sicho has said a lot, Felicia has said a lot, so I don't want to, but you see, if this woman could kill you, should have killed you long ago.
Yes.
Number two, nature. A woman, the kind of process we go through when it comes to childbirth, right? The process you go through, your body changing, the hormones. For some of us, our bodies have changed and we've done gymming, we've done all manner of things and we can't get back. Some people have lost correct use of their bodies just because of childbirth. Some have lost their teeth, some have lost their voice, some have had hormonal challenges. Look,
some have even gone blind.
Yeah, some go blind,
deaf.
Look, there are so many horrid stories. Some have lost their life. So at the end of the day, childbearing is not easy. I believe that if we look at the creation of God, that is one thing that women share in common with God, to create. So for a woman to go through this process and birth you, and it doesn't end there, nurture you so you grow, and then you turn round and label this woman as a witch.
And in most cases, suffer for them.
Hold on. Yes, suffer something, nurture you. Go through the process. Look, I I went through a point where my mom had to sell her prized possessions to pay for my fees,
Yeah.
to continue my education, things like that. So to go through this process, to giving of herself, sacrificing herself. As I'm sitting here, I'm sure if my salary was just for me, I could afford anything I wanted to afford.
Yeah.
But once you have kids, it's like when you're even buying something, you're thinking, hey,
Exactly.
what if
Yeah.
the kids need this? The kids, let me keep some buffer just in case Dante needs this, Danica needs this. You know, your mind, everything changes. So for a woman to go through this process and then to be branded a witch by their very own daughter. Nature will not forgive you.
Exactly.
So even if Papa felt he was doing the right thing, your boyfriend felt he was doing the right thing, just for the fact that you have turned against your own mother who birthed you, it comes as a curse in itself.
Thank you.
Anybody who works against their mother, watch how their life
You
progresses.
work against God indirectly.
You work against yourself.
yeah.
So it's like, it's spiritual. I'm not even saying religious. It is spiritual.
Yeah.
I don't know you understand me. So that's the first mistake she did. Now, because the mother was saying things about their marriage, they didn't want her, they wanted to kick her out. No wahala. Now this papa, and that's the nail she hits like just before she ended the submission. I don't know why people are putting look, these people are calling pastors papa and they don't even regard their parents.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
They don't visit
Yes.
their parents.
Yes.
They don't talk to their parents. They don't revere their parents. And you're calling somebody else papa. In some cases, these papas, they are not even married. Some of these papas have not even had children before. Some of these papas, how? Are they genetically, like, what is the papa about?
They live at the mercy
Some
of
of them are used to
time.
yeah.
You see, and
They
they
live
are
at the mercy of time.
and you know, they revere them.
Mm-hmm.
They Osubo now, I don't know how to say
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They
They
worship
worship
them.
them.
They worship them.
them.
You understand? They worship them, they revere them, and yet your own parents, you treat them like trash. And you feel that you are going where? No problem. This papa has papered himself in your life. Now, he thought that when he was thinking about wedding, he thought he could give you like some 5K for you to finish your wedding. But the kind of wedding you were looking for, you realize that you have to take handouts from
Papa's money was
friends.
not enough.
Papa's money it wouldn't be enough. Take money from friends and everything, blah, 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 blah. Some of these things, maybe the papa was sowing a seed in your life so that you feel indebted to him.
Yeah.
That house he gave you to stay in, listen, when there's a house that has been built and nobody is staying there, the house dies.
Yeah.
You are just a caretaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest, the papa needed a caretaker for his home.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Somebody
wasn't for
doesn't have
you.
to pay to take care of the house.
Yeah.
And you did
So
that job.
they moved you into the house. Oh, come and take care of my home. Oh, with my wife. And you are going there doing your things. Look, I can bet my last penny that this girl will be trolling. Hey, me and my husband and I, me and my husband, newlyweds, 1 month anniversary. You guys were doing all kinds of things on social media to make it look like you're okay. That's why you said that, oh, the way your husband has done things, maybe your husband is preparing them. Oh, new new year, new marriage, new home.
New home.
Yeah. All kinds of
You
things.
know,
New me.
all new me,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
all kinds of things. So at the end of the day, it's like they are living in this bubble.
And I think
As
there
for
are
the
plenty of
extravagant
parents.
weddings, I don't want to go there because listen, for those who have the money,
Yes.
and when they do the extravagant wedding, they
you
don't have
see.
to put pen and
Yeah.
paper and do 1+1. But for me,
Vote according
that's
to
on
your
a
size.
on a daily basis. I have a white sheet of paper and I put an amount at the top minus this minus this, and I keep subtracting. Then sometimes I go into negative. Then I go back to the top and see where I can cut down so that at least it balances to 0 or somewhat close to 0. Look, I for me, something like that, you do it according to.
Yes.
Now, if you're going to borrow money too, it means that the money you are borrowing, you should know that per your cash flows, it can easily, my banking side is coming out, per your cash flows, it can easily cover the repayment over a period
Yes.
of an agreed period, so you don't suffer.
Comfortably.
Now, like she also said, you should own the human beings you bring into this life. And that's why I think that women should only get married when they are worth a sort, they themselves are worth something.
Yeah.
You should be working. You should have some form of livelihood.
Yeah.
You should have something that you can depend on so you can live comfortably. For me, I know that my husband can take care of 5 children, but I will have the number of children that me, in an event that my husband is no more,
Exactly.
God forbid, knock on wood, that he's no more, something happens, me alone, my salary can take care
Take
of the
of them.
kids.
Yeah.
Truth.
You understand?
Yeah.
The moment it goes beyond my comfort zone, I don't need. I will tell her, look, babes, you know what? I think we are going too much. let's chuck it here. When things improve, because you see, you don't know. You say nobody knows tomorrow. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I will not go beyond. Now you've done all of these things. You've gone through your hardships. Now they are kicking you out of the house because the owner of the house is coming and he needs a caretaker to leave. If this man had any good intentions for this man, he will say that, look, I'm coming in, so maybe move your things to one room and let me stay in the other room or something. Then you try and find ways and means of sorting yourself out somewhere. And he says you should leave the whole house. Because you see, he doesn't want people thinking that he is not come to squat with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he wants to collect his house from you. People are like, this is my house. It was not yours. Now, the first thing you should do is that, listen, as horrible as what you did to your mother was, a mother's love is infinite. It has no boundaries. I know this because I have offended my mom before. Sometimes you talk, hey, my mom did this, my mom did. This same woman, you go to her crying, she's the first person to open her arms and pull you in and say, my daughter, come here. You see?
In this whole world, they are the
so
only
at the
people.
end of the day, look, truthfully, let me tell you something. A woman's love for their child, because they know what they went through for that child. And usually the children who misbehave, they are the ones that the mothers have invested so much in. And they are the ones that are even on the, at the impact of the heart. So trust me, this is the time to swallow your pride. Whatever ego you think you have, reduce it.
Immediately.
Let me speak it, reduce it. Drop it. The pride, you better reduce it. The ego, reduce it. The arrogance, reduce it. Right now, come down. Go to your mother by yourself. Kneel down in front of your mother and beg for forgiveness. Because if you don't get the forgiveness of your mother may continue doing what she has to do for you, but that pain may still be there. You need to come to that point where you let your mother know that what I said, what I allowed happen, what I did. So which means that her mother was not even part of her wedding.
Yes,
and that's so painful to mothers. So painful. And now you've gone ahead, gotten pregnant. Look, every mother wants to be. Danica would get married and have a child, and I'm alive, and I wouldn't know about it. Look, it would
kill you.
It will kill the woman.
That is my little girl.
True.
I mean, she's grown. She's 4 years. She's asking me questions, but I still see her as a baby. I still remember when I gave birth to her. I still remember the conditions under which I gave birth to her. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is that, look, madam, go to your mother. Go and apologize. After you apologize, let her bless you. Let her forgive you and bless you. Then when you move on, listen, no job is beneath you.
Exactly.
Right.
If it's buying and selling, you sell shit off. I'm sure she started small. Now everybody goes about her shit off, her jollof, her this, her this, her that. So I would pay premium to buy her jollof because it's really nice. So my thing is that, look, get something doing, get some job doing. Slowly you come out of this. But the number one thing you should do, go to your mom, beg for forgiveness, let her forgive you, and start doing. As for the guy, I don't want to come there because the guy doesn't have direction.
At all. I don't think he's even prepared to be married.
It seems like a lot of
it's good Bruce is
He ain't going to deal with a man.
All of us don't want to deal with the man, but I will still give my submission. But now it's time for us to take a quick break and we'll get to the second story. All right? So we'll be right back.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yin na da da da. So pa mediane no abe. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abe feeling.
Jan tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every young woman in Ghana is going to be empowered enough to be the light and the heart of our society.
I am committed to ensuring that these NGOs are supporting government's efforts and not the opposite.
We have developed a very effective cycle of admitting and rehabilitating young women in need.
I must be a soldier. I don't just want to be in the program. I want to be by your side.
Get her ready.
You're saved and you're brought here to make something of yourself. Only rule is that you stay as good girls.
Our investigation still focus on organizations with a seemingly clean sheet.
You will fail. You know why? Because I never lose.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Sisters, that show where you can share all your frustrations when it comes to relationship. Well, it's a no judgment zone. It's a safe space. All we do is just give you advice on the best way to navigate your problems. So we've actually read the first story. Now it's time for us to get into a second story, and then we'll be talking about the story. And sisters, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, always.
Dear sisters, I've been married for 5 years and we have 2 boys aged 7 and 4. My husband suffered a stroke 2 years ago and he has never been the same since then. He's unable to work or do anything. I don't have the right word, but he's become a burden to me and my kids. I asked his mom to come fetch and nurse him, but she refused because his wife should be the one taking care of him, she said. I'm only 28 and it's too much for me. I'm not coping with working, studying, and being a mom and also a wife to a man who can't do anything. I tried for 2 years, but I just can't do it anymore. I have been dating a colleague for the past 8 months, and he's the only person that takes away my stress. That was so easy to say. Wow. Everyone else does not understand how depressed I am. My colleague says I must inform my parents that I want to leave my husband and start my life afresh with him. Sisters, I'm considering it, but I don't know how to go about it without sounding heartless. I love my husband, but there's no hope for him right now. I don't want to look back when I'm 45 and regret not living my life because I was expected to be in the marriage alone. Sisters, what should I do? Because I'm really, really confused.
I got off when she said, I love my husband.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Does she understand the entire letter, nothing you did sounds like you love this man. Then the last bit, you just add that for sympathy.
Hey, it choke, pa. It choke. That's fine. She's
heartless already.
You see, you're married to a man. Assuming the man was providing for you for 10 years, the man was everything you ever dreamed of for 10 years. The man gave you things ahead of his mother for 10 years. I don't think you write to us complaining that, oh, my husband dosed me with so much pleasures of life and I just can't handle it. I want him to take a bit or maybe go and give his mother some. And I don't think you write to us and tell us that. Please. The only reason why you're talking to us is that you see, the marriage says for better, for worse.
I was going to say, they take that out of the vows.
Your worst has come early, and then you think that, hey, I'm good for the good, I'm good for the better, but hey, for the worst, should go back to the mother.
Go to my mother.
Really? And you see, even if you said, oh, you were doing it for 5 years, 10 years, they can say you are truly fatigued. 2 years. And after the 2 years, you've been dating somebody for 8 months.
So technically, again,
for me, I see you like as soon as you started having challenge, you said,
she started looking.
I'm too young, though, I can't. You just started looking.
She
already said she's only 28.
So I'm only 28, and then I don't want to get to 45 and then feel like I didn't live my life.
When it comes to marriage,
life begins at 40, by the way.
Yes, when it comes to marriages, right? Marriages are not designed to be a walk in a park. Marriages are not designed to be a bed of roses. Yes, they can be, but they can only be if it is worked on over a period of time. So there's the artificial phase. which because of the excitement, we just got married, it seems rosy, it seems okay. And when reality hits in, the kids are coming, bills are coming, you are living in each other's space. So it is something as simple as toothpaste, whether the person cleans the leg before lying on the couch or not. Very funny things like that. You begin to put strain on the marriage.
Yeah.
And then sometimes little illnesses here and there. Sometimes it may not even be the husband. It may be one of the children who has an issue. Then they start putting strain. There's discourse. There's blame game. There's arguments. Then along the line, if both of you are working towards it, then you begin to live in harmony. That's why both of you accept who both of you are, and both of you decide, like, listen, I'm willing to live with this or not live with this. Some people would exit before that moment, or some people know that they can't get to that harmony stage, so they exit. You understand? But it goes through a meal. So if your kids are 7 and 4, I'm thinking that, okay, assuming that you had your kids after your marriage, you've been married for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And after 6 years, you are having
5 years.
No, she said, I've been married for
5 years.
5 years. And we have 2 boys, ages 7 and 4.
Okay.
So that means
they had a kid
before they
So
go.
they married for 5 years and all of that. So at the end of the day, this guy unfortunately was struck with some form of disease through no fault of his. I know people who have stroke and and I know others too who have worked on it and they have recovered.
Yeah.
And what I know about certain diseases is that most of it is just waiting it out. Sometimes
Caring.
mental game, caring. If the husband knows that you are caring for him, sometimes he may have, there may be that energy, that drive to get better. That will even move him to actually become better than everybody expects him to be. And of course, if you are spiritual, you add prayers to it so that you can get better. But at the end of the day, it is very unfair. Because if the roles were reversed, we'll be here bashing the man.
Yeah.
And this woman had children for you, and you are living here. Same way, madam. You said you don't know how to say it without people describing you as heartless. Madam, you are heartless.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are heartless. I mean, that you haven't been tarried for so long. Like, you haven't waited it out for so long. And you see the arrogance, calling the mother that, hey, right now your son is sick, so come and collect you. You see, if you were a good woman, I'm sure your mother would even come in to want to come and help.
Yeah, exactly.
But the way you think that, Charlie, this one is not my cup of tea, so woman, come and take your son. Plus, if during the marriage you were not entertaining the woman in your home, is it now that you wanted to come to your home?
No.
So at the end of the day, everything seems wrong with this. What I'll tell this one is, like, listen, what goes around comes around. Today you think you are 28, you think you are strong, you think you are beautiful, you are vibrant. It could be you having a stroke next month, next year.
Yeah.
It could be you, something happening to you, and you see
before that 45 that you
and
want
these guys. And for me, I have a problem with people who like to give married people attention to make you feel like they are offering them a safe space, so that they can't even work on their marriage. So it's like it's noise. Because the marriage is going through a cycle. Then you come from nowhere, like an addendum, like some attachments, like some useless. And then you come and then you want to give this man or woman a safe space, like, oh, hello, hi, baby, hi, sugar, hi, darling. Oh, you can do it. What kind of? It's TV. Let me use certain language. What is that?
It's a temptation the devil brings your way.
Yeah, what is that? You see, and when that happens, you realize that the spouse that is getting the attention from outside doesn't have energy to work on the relationship, to work on the marriage. Then in the long run, to look like the other woman is nagging, or the other man is nagging, or the other man is expecting too much, but at the end of it all, you are disturbing the course of the marriage as a third party. Now the thing is that when you finally leave your husband, this man will not leave you. He will still enjoy the thing, right? You enjoy it, but listen, he will never take a step to marry you because he knows that this is the kind of person you are. If something happens to him, you do the same. In 6 months, or because this one got like Chaloga, have you know the memo? The other one, it was 1 year, 2 months, or 1 year, 4 months before I started.
And that was number one.
And that one, he didn't even know, but now you know the memo, so maybe your own will be like 6 months, then she will move on. So this man would enjoy you for as long as he can enjoy you, but to take the extra step and marry you, he won't do it because he knows the kind of person you are. So my dear, you are heartless, but there is time to arrest the situation. Quit with that gentleman in the office. To start with office romance, I don't understand. It's not. Quit with that.
It does not make sense.
Quit with that gentleman in the office. Go and concentrate on your husband. Show your husband love, attention. If you are spiritual, you can pray for him. Make sure he gets the best of medical care. Be there for them. Make sure the kids are around him, because these are the things that he lives for. These are the things that will motivate him to get better. And he might get better. And you would enjoy him because you remember who you were when he was down.
Exactly.
If, God forbid, he dies, that one,
it's different.
Naturally,
the death has done you parts.
Then has done you parts. Then you can move on with your life. But for him to be going through the stress and you think that you are, Charlie, madam, you are heartless. I beg you.
You know, I honestly think some women are given as women a terrible name, and I think this has to be addressed. She is heartless from the word go. Madam, you are heartless from the word go. And I think if nobody is going to tell you, we here as sisters have told you, you are heartless. Now let's get to the bottom of it. You have such a nerve to get married to a man. Everything he showed you before the marriage vows, for you to agree to marry him, knowing very well that marriage is not a bed of roses. Anything can happen in the entire process. Nobody said in the marriage vows that, oh, when trouble comes, you have every right to walk away. Nobody said that in the marriage vows. So for you to have the nerve to even now start seeing another man in the marriage is just wrong. It's flawed on many levels. You are an adulterer, and you need to check that as well. Now, back to the fact that you think this man is stressing your life. What you need to do is to get your kids out of whatever school they are in, when you guys could both afford to take care of them, and take them to a lower standard school and use the rest of the money to take care of this man, because at this point you are the sole breadwinner of the family. Cut down every cost that needs to be cut down so that you can comfortably take care of him. And that school she's talking about, this is not the time for it anymore. Even if maybe you started to do your masters or what, she needs to sit down and think of all the things she can cut down. This is the reality she's faced with now. And I think when people I feel like these are some of the things they should be telling people when they go for these counseling, etc. Because this is the reality of life. It could have been anything else but stroke. It could have been an accident. Look, one time I went to General Hospital to visit my stepdad, and there was this man who had bent. His whole body was bent, and his wife was there taking care of him. I asked myself, could I do this?
Exactly.
But these are the questions as a woman when you're growing up and you're about to get married. You should ask yourself, because marriage is not a joke. I think it's one of those, it's not for children. My pastor always says it, that sometimes God is even preparing you. That's why he's delaying you. You know? And then you think, oh, I want to get married. Because it's not that easy. So for you to want to run away because of stroke, ask yourself, if you were in his shoes, would you be happy if he was doing the same thing to you? She's been unfair to this man, and I think it's terrible. And I think she needs to check herself, ask herself the right questions, and if she has wise parents, this is the time to go to them for advice. This is the time to go to them for advice. And sleeping with an office colleague, terrible. Terrible. Shame on you, man. Shame on you. It's terrible.
Felicia.
So, I hear her when she talks about being stressed. To be honest, these things, we talk about them, but in reality, it's not as easy as it seems. But there is support. There is nursing support. You can have a stay-at-home nurse who can help with your husband, so that you can take on maybe extra hours at work or even spend more time with the kids. I agree with my sister Sichu. It's time for a reality check. Go back to the drawing board. Ask yourself, where can we cut costs so that I can get the support I need? And when we talk about support cannot just come from a nurse or a professional or whoever it is. It can even be from friends. Oh, Amma, can you hold on to Kweku and Kwesi for the weekend so that I can spend more time with Daddy? You know, you need to find a balance. And asking your in-law to come for her son. What nerve? Are you kidding me? What nerve? These are the same women fighting their in-laws. So imagine if it was Rosie, or the husband had money, had cars, had this best things. Hey, she'll be the same person writing to us, telling us, and our mother-in-law comes to the house all the time. She's looking into our business. He's my man. I married him. And the two shall become one.
And now that you've become one, you are pushing his
mama's boy. Mama's boy. And now you are pushing him back to the mother. Hey, don't you respect? You know, when you started the story, the question I asked myself was, have they taken for better from worse out of the marriage vows. No, I haven't been to a wedding in a while, so I had to double check. Maybe they've taken that out.
You know what?
But she doesn't understand that bit of it.
No. Sometimes people actually write their vows. Like they customize the vows. I've been to weddings where, you know, some things have been taken off. The suffering parts especially. So people don't say, some people don't say for Richard for
I watched
again.
one that said
for
Richard.
Yeah.
Oh,
You understand? So sometimes they take away.
They forget that even when you are cooking, there are times that you put more salt than you expect. So in everything you do, there's definitely a waste.
Yeah.
Even
so
a waste.
and Rachel, if for Rachel or Rachel, it means that there's a benchmark that's better than another one.
Another one. So you should be prepared. So this girl I see is just not matured.
Yeah, not matured.
She's just not matured. That is it. That's the honest truth. Lady, you are not matured. I don't know who advised you to get married. You did get married, and thinking about it, she's just 28. Meaning she got married very early. Yeah, and that's a problem. A lot of people.
No, 28. Her first son is 7 years old.
So
that means she even got pregnant at 20.
20.
Yeah. And had the baby at 21. So, and then they got married 5 years. Then she got married at 23.
Yeah.
So for her, maybe she wasn't ready. And the guy was like, oh, you're beautiful, you're pretty. So she's like, hey, I want to continue being a pretty thing. I can't be a nurse.
And for that work colleague, he thinks that this is a bed of roses for him to go and lie in. Hey, there's this thing called Kamau. But he's not heard of it. It will come. It will serve. It will be served hot. Hotter than pepper.
On steroids.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes I'm always left wondering how some of these women get husbands. It makes me sad.
It's sad.
It makes me sad.
Because materials are not getting it.
The materials are not getting it.
One thing
Market is hard now. Market is hard, sister. Market is hard. Market is hard.
It's true. It's actually true. No, because like the Sierra Leoneans will say wanty, no, they get getty, they get. Yeah, are they getty? No, no want.
Yeah.
You understand?
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
No, but
right. You see, I think that it goes both ways. I think that people now are not marrying for the right reasons.
Yes.
I think traditionally, even though, I mean, parents will they'll go and look for who is compatible with you and all that. And then once the child hits puberty, traditionally, the elders in the home, they take the children through certain processes.
Yes.
More
and
like preparing them
for
to be wives, to be husbands, how to care for a home, how to look after your. But now because of westernization and people are moving and traveling,
overwork
all
is
these
killing
things
us.
Are worrying us because sometimes as soon as you're a lady, you start menstruating. They'll start talking to you. Now you're becoming a woman. You have to learn how to cook. You have to learn how to do basic. A man, once you start getting to a certain level, you have to go hunting. You have to learn how to farm. I'm not saying that's the work you do, but mentally they're trying to teach you that, listen,
you have to become responsible.
you need to become a man, to be responsible. A woman, the home is your priority. Take care of your home. This is what you have to do. I don't agree with all the processes because sometimes it feels like you're putting a woman in a box and a man in a different box of success and a woman in a different box. Sometimes there are gray areas there, but at least there was some form of tuition putting you mentally into that state of mind. That is why some of our mothers and even fathers, they went through certain things in their marriages and they still stayed. They worked on it. They became better. They were able to pick their children above themselves and make things work. And then the children will grow up, be rosy and everything. But we are in a fast food age.
And I think the media is also not helping.
Yes, at all.
You touched on it a little bit. I think not in a bad way, especially if you are like those of us in the media space, like we benefit from all the trends and all that. But I don't think it's really working for mindsets, like setting up different mindsets or changing people's mindsets. I think a lot of people now see marriage to be all like rosy, the wedding. Now married is like the wedding.
Yeah.
So when anyone thinks about wedding, marriage, it's all about the wedding. So when they go get married and they settle, then reality setting is like, what is happening? I even know people who don't even stay with their partners before they get married.
No, they don't stay with their partners even after marriage. They have finished their performance.
They live somewhere, the man leaves. So there's a process. Even forgetting about our traditional or cultural setting, even in the Western world, they have dating, courtship, living together, sharing the same space, knowing who you are living with. And we are talking about a medical case. You even know about the things your guy or your husband eats that's not really good for their health. And you can advise, oh, these drinks you've been taking, Oga, slow down on it. It's not good for your health. These are investment, things you invest into your marriage or into the relationship prior to settle down. Like sometimes I tell people that easy, don't be taking this thing because in future when your kidney is not working, I won't be taking care of it. But it's a way of checking and making sure that you don't find yourself in a situation that becomes, critical, that you can no longer handle. But the media really isn't helping. I know there's a good part of it where people are making a lot of money from blogging, having these TikTok pages for couples and stuff and all that. But we should find a way of couching the message. We should sometimes share the bit of it.
Right. Not the bitter, the reality. The bitter is like the reality of it.
The reality of it. It's not always like you have when you see these people, these TikTok couples. It's all the fancy. Let's try this. It's funny. Sometimes I fall prey. I feel like, hey, when can I get this? So, but then quickly I check myself. Like, is this everyday life for them? This is just 3 seconds of their lives that they are showing on social media. This is not what it is. Right. So we need to find a way to couch the message out there or properly prime that message we are putting out there for consumption.
Let me actually ask Bruce his own thoughts about this story. What do you think about this story, especially being a man?
The lady is 1, immature. 2, disrespectful, because I'm thinking she's not in good terms with the in-law. Because if for a very long time your mom, and even is not even in good terms with her parents, because in this case, if you have issues, there are nannies that can take care of your kids. This day and age, your mother can even come in and take care of your kids. Like you rightly said, nursing homes are there. People can come in, but she has a bad influence coming from a group of people also looking at her age. She will have friends who would, leave your husband, that kind of vibe. So she's immature. And like you've all told her, she's wicked.
Oh, yes,
she is wicked. And I pray this man stands on his feet. And shows her Pepe.
But you know the surprising part, when he gets better, he will not show her Pepe. He will not.
He has to show her Pepe.
And he might not even remember anything because it's a stroke.
He might decide to forget.
Right. Okay. It's time for us to take a quick break, and when we come back, I will be giving my submission on both stories. We'll be back.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yin na da da da. So pa mediane no abe. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abe fi.
Johnny tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
It does get better anytime your favorite shop, Malcolm, says it's there for you and got you covered with all your daily need items. Continue shopping on products ranging from groceries, stationery, electronics, homeware, kitchenware, furniture, home decor, electrical, and many more at low prices. Terms and conditions apply. Malcolm, where Ghana shops.
Sure say your hospital go Obi if you hear the final way I get for your dog.
I still have your underwear in my office drawer.
I could never imagine you would end up being my stepmother.
Anybody with the capacity to give you great joy can also bring you insufferable pain.
Hey there! Wondering how to make this authentic Ongalicious Yameto? Tag along. First, place a pot on heat. Add water, cut yams, salt, and 2 eggs. Cover and bring to a boil. Add pepper and onions to an asanka and grind till smooth. Place a pan on heat. Add in palm oil and the grinded pepper. Fry for about 2 minutes. Add in sliced onions and tomatoes. Now, it's time to authenticate the dish with Mama's helping hand. Onga 3 mix. Stir, cover, and cook for 2 minutes. Check the yam. Once it's tender, take off heat and drain. Add a handful of groundnuts to the same asanka and grind till smooth. Add the yam to the groundnuts and mash bit by bit till all has been mashed. Add in palm oil and mix very well. Garnish with boiled eggs, avocado, and groundnuts. Enjoy this Ongalicious Yameto.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is Sister. So we've actually looked at 2 stories, and the sisters have given their submission. And I hope that everyone that sent their letters watched this show and took advice from the sisters. Because like I said, the sisters are here to actually help you navigate your problems. And I'm going to give my final submission. So, in the first story, we actually saw a lady that's in a dilemma. She got married and they are not doing too well, especially for the fact that they had to, you know, have an extravagant wedding without having money, without any, you know, correct financial support. So they even have to go take loans and all of that. And to even make it worse, this lady is not talking to her mom because the pastor that helped them with the wedding called her mom a witch, and she believes that. Well, lady, if you are watching, all I can say is nothing different from what all the sisters have said. You need to go back to your mom. Ask for forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness because it's really important that you honor your mom. I don't think your mom will, you know, have any sort of negative ideas to harm you or stuff like that, because I don't believe that when any pastor just comes out of the blues and says your mom is a witch. Who is that pastor to call your mom a witch? Your mom hasn't been witching you from the beginning. It's now that you want to get married that your mom is a witch. You know, it's very dicey. In fact, it's wrong. It's very wrong for anybody to come out and tell you that your mom is a witch and you would believe without your mom doing anything to you. So you were wrong at that point. You need to go back to your mom and ask for forgiveness. You really need to. Now that there's a child involved and your finances are bad, that's why you also need to go back to your parents, because your parents are the only one that can actually accept you. Your family can actually accept you at this moment. And it's not because that you are in need that you have to go back, but because you recognize that you have hurt your mom by believing what someone else says about her. And to your husband, I think your husband needs to step up. He really needs to step up, because from everything that you said out here, it seems like you guys want to live the high life, but without having the money, without having that financial backing. You can't keep pretending. Life is, I know some people say fake it as you make it, fake it till you make it, but this is not an issue of faking it till you make it, because really there is even nothing. You are busy paying back loans that you actually, you know, took out for a wedding. That doesn't sound right. If you cannot afford it, there was no point to have even thought of having an extravagant wedding. I know Instagram, social media can, you know, give you that urge to want to do like everybody, but cut your coats according to your size. If you don't have it now, you can have it tomorrow. There is no harm in having a quiet wedding. There is no harm in having a wedding that you can afford. So really, you need to check yourself and fix your finances. But most importantly, go back to your parents and sit down with your husband and talk about your finances. Because right now there's a baby involved and you don't want that baby to suffer. And please make no mistake in having another one. Make no mistake in having another one right now until you have all these sorted out. And now to the second story. The lady. Okay, so this lady actually have been married for 5 years, and she has 2 kids with her husband. And her husband has a stroke right now, suffering a stroke. And all of a sudden, she doesn't want to be in the marriage again because this man is suffering a stroke, because she has to now be the one taking care of him, and she cannot do it. And on top of the fact that she cannot do it, she's seeing someone else. I think this is wickedness. Wickedness in the sense that you have a sick husband that you need to take care of. Instead of thinking of him, you're actually thinking of the pleasures that you will be getting from this new colleague or this colleague that you are having an affair with. In the first place, I didn't expect you to even have an affair. I didn't expect you to go in for something like that. For the fact that you didn't have a problem with this man, you loved this man, and now he's down with illness. Let me tell you something. It's a stroke, yes. And strokes, we've heard so many times that, oh, a lot of people cannot recover from it. But talking from experience, I'm going to use my dad as an example. He had a stroke, and he came out of it, and he's well. He can't even remember that he had he had something like that. So just have in mind that it is possible to heal. It is possible to heal. If you're spiritual, this is the time that you are supposed to be praying for your husband. This is the time that you are supposed to be showing him love. Maybe that love, that positive energy, that energy of wanting him to heal can actually cause him to get better. But who knows? Maybe you're doing the opposite. You're nagging. You're acting funny towards him. You're giving out negative energy. How do you want him to heal? You're sleeping with someone else. When he is, you know, in the point where he needs you mostly, you need to rethink your steps. If you really want our advice, just like everybody said, you really need to rethink your steps. Break up with that person that you've started this relationship with. That's if you're serious about marriage. And I think I agree with Bruce this time. I don't think you were ready for marriage. It was all the glitz and glam of, you know, weddings and, you know, being called Mrs. It's not just about being called Mrs., but, you know, there are things that you need to do to actually show someone that you love them. And this is part of one of those things this is one of those things that you need to do. You need to be there for, you know, the person that you love when the person is down. So please rethink your steps. Rethink your actions and fix those wrongs, because karma is real. It might come back to you. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show, because I did. Although the stories were a bit heavy, I really did enjoy the show. Once more, thank you to all the sisters that, you know, make it easy for us on this show. And once more, if you want to send your story, all you need to do is send your stories, your worries through sisterislive@gmail.com. sisterislive@gmail.com, and we will be reading your story right here on air. Thank you so much, and a very big thank you to Brew Services for the wonderful cocktail, because without you, I don't know. We'll just be swallowing our spits because it's really not easy on this show reading these stories and these letters. But then we hope to see you next week, same time. Bye-bye. And my name is Chris Carter.